see Aleseness be able to go in and out of armor mode. He's invulnerable in that armor mode. And he capped a point on Karab Sinkhole while regaining his armor in invulnerability. So you can actually activate points when you bring your armor back, which is huge tech for Aleseness.
Yeah, and just to ban Aleseness is not super common, but from what I'm hearing, it's anywhere where you want to get rid of stall. Aleseness is so good at stalling because Aleseness, with those multiple lives that they can have,
get it out of here.
Get it out of here. So one ban each for CSTG and CLGG. It's global. It affects both teams, and you can't ban the same striker on the following maps. So first one locked in, Aquila.
Yeah, Aquila taken down. So, do they even get the Falcon ban in then? It almost just sits by itself. So Inferno goes out. So we are going to get the Tricera Stego combos coming in here on Palm Bay Harbor. Expect these to sit pretty right on the payload. Lumine there. There is healing for Kai's, and there is the healing for SD, as you were expecting. That main healer. And the TV head on Tricera. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I love the customizations.
Yeah,
but
look at everybody.
To reiterate what these bans mean, the biggest way to take care of ultra heavy strikers is to poke them down with snipers or to use energy damage. They are weakest to energy damage, and Inferno delivers just that. You take out one sniper, you take out the main energy damage dealer, that leaves you with Narukami, that leaves you with just using as much range damage as possible. But this is going to be a ultra heavy tank battle because Palm Bay Harbor is a payload escort map, so stacking that payload is important. But the objective isn't just to push your own cart, it is to also capture consoles, which will accelerate your payload, but to also go and capture the enemy payload, which stops their progress.
Yeah, you can bring it right back to base. It gets a little trolly, but hey, that's the strategy. It's not a cheese. It is absolutely worthy of the play. So within this, there is A, B, and C. They are points that can be captured that will boost your payload forward. If a team only captures the points to a team always sitting on their payload, the game can still be pretty even. So it is a decision of what you're going for first. You really always want to be on your payload and going for points, but it doesn't have to just be one. You can still squeeze your way back into the game here on Palm Bay Harbor.
Yep, CSTG versus CLGG. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to take it, because this is one of the closest knit matches when it comes to our round one to represent China in the upcoming rounds. And we don't get to see this map too often. So already the Flyers taking to the skies, choosing. And remember, those Flyers are going to be the ones that can dictate and also communicate to the team what is the rotation, where is the enemy setting up.
High ground, all the way to the high ground. Jake and Dia said this right off the bat. It's not just the high ground outside that water area in the low spot. It is all the way on top of B point to start. We already see the defensive field coming out of Welkin, trying to deny all of this energy damage still coming in. You have Aquila and Inferno banned, but you're seeing tons of energy damage still.
And remember that Welkin box, you can still shoot through it, but you can't walk past it, so it's sort of an isolating battle where Welkin will want to get up close and personal with another unit that is weak to that melee damage, and you know that quite well.
Oh yeah, and this is where Welkin wants to be now, towards this A point. We can see teams somewhat trying to cap it, but again, focused on the fight. Focused on dwindling the numbers of their opponent's strikers before wanting to cap that 4-2 right now with strikers on point in favor of CLGG.
Yinzi on the Panther. That is a scary choice. Ooh. And remember, this is melee only, so you can poke down a Panther before he's able to come and assassinate you. We'll see what Yinzi can do, but in this giant skirmish, who cares about the Panther? This Panther's going to unleash.
Ming taking out Jamly there. Beautiful job with the spinning Welkin throughout the box. This looks like it's going to be grabbed. Push forward is the payload for the side of CSTG to start this, and you can see the opponents boxing the payload of CLGG.
Yeah, you can see at the top of the UI, if the red turns blue, that means the enemy is on the payload and is trying to either capture it or it will be reversing it. And there's only a small lead for CSTG. And sometimes you don't want to focus on overcooking or overthinking. You can try to extend those kill respawn timers for your enemy to make things a lot easier for your team.
Look at this death ball. Both sides riding their payloads face to face now as they start to get towards that B area. So much have we seen of this Panther right now. Yinzi just distracting, resetting, and getting back into the fight to make sure there is chaos being caused from this Panther.
And as you can see in the map in the top left, sometimes, like you said, the payloads get really close and then they diverge, so it splits your attention between wanting to disrupt the enemy objective while also pushing your
so
own.
Cool. I love the fact that it's a payload race in the end. They're going to be inside soon, so the Flyers are going to have a real tough time making this happen towards point B. That should spawn soon, but both payloads are going to be at the front door, so the fight is going to be heavy inside.
Oh, big kills out of CSTG. 2 missing. CLGG needing to regroup, and our payloads are tied 32% apiece as Zhuhai trying to box in with the Welkin. Has one on the corner, but the wall gets in his way. He's still on the chase down. The Tricera, though, will stagger him. You do not want to try and melee a Tricera.
2 seconds left till Jamley comes in. Their Welkin on CLGG went down again, almost pivotal for capping a point. 6-1 on this, and it looks like CSTG is going to get an easy cap on point B, shoving their payload forward.
Oh, wow. Now that's quite a lead for CSTG, and when it rains, it pours. There's 3 down for CLGG as they'll need to regroup towards their cart. There's a Stego now set up, and above them is a Panther trying to dislodge them. Raining Fire, though, will get King in a bad position.
Boxes?
And Jam Lee is trying to protect with the boxes to push them away, but it's CLGG that just can't get back on their feet.
Oh, riding both payloads is CSTG. Look at that on the top side of the screen. You can see they are backing up the enemy payload and pushing theirs. Absolute class right now from CSTG.
Yinzu trying to avoid enemy fire and also scout where their next target will be. This is a striker that goes for that direct health and is going to skirmish up close. Now with Chuzang, they're working as a team, starting to back away. They're in a comfortable position. It's 58% to 36.
The focus from the Panther. Wants to get out of that Tricera a little bit. And now they focus back to their own payloads. So this goes around the outside to see a little bit of a breather for both teams here as they're going to start setting up. You can see all the Welkin catch.
And just the Panther bursting through, because remember the Welkin box also seals off your own teammates.
Yep.
So it can be sometimes troll, but there is a console that's been activated. You see the C at the top of the screen. CSTG could get a huge boost that could lead to a win. CLGG cannot allow this to happen.
CLGG get it. They get very close, within just a few percent of their opponents. Oh, 6 on it to cap the point, though. CSTG is so much more, or rather a step ahead.
CSTG did just capture that console C, and it just seems like an inevitable victory.
Yeah.
CLGG need to try and reverse this progress. They're not too far behind by about 14%, but Yinzu is a threat on the battlefield, assassinating anyone who thinks they could escape.
Mostly the healer, the disruptions right now that Yinzi is putting on what would be the backline, the supports, the people that need to help the tanks is utterly disgusting. And again, almost gets a kill right there. I think it's going to be a follow-up real quick.
So smart to ignore the Tricera. You don't always have to kill the person on the payload, but everyone supporting the Tricera around it. Yinzi picks and chooses his battles and wins them all.
Right back to the team. They know they can take a breather. They just wait on the payload now, and it looks so good for CSTG here starting on Palm Bay Harbor. Right in the beginning, we had both teams going high, all the way up about 32%. Everybody front door on B site, and then it just fell apart for CLGG.
CLGG just not having much fluid armor to work with, and this is just a playground for the Panther to pounce on their target. And Kaisi just gets pushed up against the wall, and that's what's so fun about Panther. Pinning someone up against the wall, stunning them, and hitting your combos. This turns into a fighting game when you play Panther.
I heard that. I literally heard the alarm going off. You're knocked, you're stunned, you can't move, you're scattered. And then you go down. The pressure
911.
a good Panther, 911 please. The pressure a good Panther puts on you is ridiculous. But we've said before, if a Panther is missing those, you're left flying through the air and not helping your team. So Yinzi hitting all of those is incredibly impressive.
And just to find those isolated targets, because they just made CSTG or CLGG just hemorrhage.
Yeah.
As soon as they were dispersing, the Panther loves those isolated battles, to go for those 1v1s and to pick and choose those battles where they're pinning people up against the geometry of the map to get those stuns. If Panther goes unpunished, that is a threat on the battlefield.
I really want to see the deaths on Lumine, because I feel like Yenzi was focusing the heals so much to get the damage out. Also, great control once after they got to B. You may have seen actually that it looked like the ceiling dropped on B. A few parts of the map will affect the map. They can be destroyed there. So that's actually really cool to see. You see it infrequently because not a lot of fights happen that crazy at B. Somebody's already got a bit of an advantage, but when it is an all-out brawl, few different things can happen on a map that you kind of reveal. It's really nice.
Yeah, CSTG take map number 1 in this best of 3, but CLGG will have the map pick coming up next.
True.
That is the advantage to work with. So I wonder where they're going to want to go. And is Panther going to be a ban they consider?
Maybe not. They did not like, it seemed like both teams really hated what Energy was about to do on that. And they're more so Welkin or things that deny energy or hate energy. Inferno and them can be used on more maps better than they can on Harbor.
Yeah, and just kind of, it's CSTG or CLGG that need to go to their strengths. CLGG will be picking up a map coming up soon. Where Lox, I was wanting to see maybe a Panther mirror. This was this self-proclaimed Panther one trick that didn't want to challenge Yenzi on that one, so, or at least we didn't get to see too much of his Panther.
I think I'm going to go with a Tricera MVP still. I'm thinking objective, even though there was so much disruption. I don't know, he got so many kills though. Yenzi was just absolutely obliterating people. This is a kind of a tough one. I will say Tricera though.
Tricera MVP, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
And it's one that you can tweet from the cart from. I love to sit back
from
and
the cart.
I'd be leaning back and I'm like, my job is easy. Because you just saw how powerful Tricera is against melees and how Yenzi kind of found out the hard way to don't mess with the Tricera, kill everything around it. And then when Tricera is alone, you try to break down those composite shields, and it takes a while to kind of shred that Tricera down.
You have to be really careful, because when you break the initial shield, you'll see a light blue line. And it says resist, 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 and he very much is resisting. It's an invulnerability moment that Tricera gets. Yes, an invulnerability moment. But then you break the side shields, and he will have to get up and get back down. So if you can actually break through one of those, or we found out today, and in a few other ways, if you sit or get on top, you can just fire down over the shield.
Oh, but Goomba Stomp?
Yeah, Goomba Stomp. But no Tricera is going to sit there and be like, I can't aim that high. He's just going to move. So it is funny to see, though. We kind of just Elysinus fly by, and you're like,
or just flyers that have buzzed around Triceras. You see on those very open maps, the Triceras think they could just sit on a mountain and be a rock. Well, that rock is going to tumble.
It is
and
Yenzi.
MVP.
Wow.
Panther extraordinaire.
An ace cleaning up the team enough to grab an ace for himself. Double kill there as well. Beautiful job.
Look how serious his face is. He ain't playing no games.
Yeah.
His Panther, I mean, when he gets to run around and almost when he gets boxed in with the Welkin, he's almost happy to be in that arena with him. How do you find the Welkin versus Panther?
Welkin versus Panther means you box before. So what I do is when the Panther's charging up, I'll kind of predict it, and I'll wall, and he just bashes his lance into the wall. And then, like, for another full charge, they can hold it, but they usually try it one more time before the wall goes away. So you just need to troll. You don't want to fight. You only fight the Panther if he is almost dead.
And here's the highlights of our match. It was so close for the first quarter to the first half of the game, but you saw how important it is to capture those consoles. You pointed out there's a couple that spawn, and this accelerates your payload. If CLGG just push their cart, the sales are not going to be enough.
Yeah.
CSTG capping every single one of those consoles is what won them the game.
Yeah, it was the amount of CSTG alive, in the right place, and moving before they needed to, right? We saw 4 or 5 people continuously on these capture points, which makes it almost impossible because that thing is just rocketing up to full before the other team gets there because they're so worried about payload distance when that's exactly what helps you with payload distance. It might even be worth it to hop off all 6 and get to that point on a C.
Yeah, Yinzi understands his win conditions so well. So, like
Yeah.
I said, it's not always about going for the kills. He does when they're isolated, but when there's multiple ultra heavy strikers stacked on top of each other, his objective for Stego is to force him out of that turret form. For Tricera, ignore Tricera. Don't worry about
Ignore
Tricera.
it. It's
And
hard.
kill everybody else around it. Yinzi knows how to perfect on the Panther, but CLGG have our map pick coming up, and it's Graceland Sky City.
They want to fight. They want to fight in the 3 pods of Graceland Sky City. That first one, like you said, we're going to be indoors. We're going to be getting a huge
Panther.
fight on, and Panther loves the amount of walls in the first level of Graceland Sky City.
I'm excited to see if there's going to be a Panther ban here or what's going to be the composition to try and poke down this Panther. Because, again, you don't always have to ban it, but you can try to position against it. Be as far away as you can. Remember, Panther has no ranged abilities. It has to get up close and personal to you. You can also try to ban something like Illuminate, something that gives mobility boost to something like a Panther to help with the gap close. But it's a Hurricane ban for CLGG.
And a Falcon ban on the other side. So no real air superiority from Falcon, but do we get Sky Raiders now? Was our question. Everybody's going to play a ground game for Graceland Sky City? Oh, this is actually going to be awesome. This is a brawl between both teams. High ground will still be played here, of course, Lemon, but the fact that we have no air superiority coming in, I mean, Aquila is going to be up there, but there's no flyer, and you can get one Aquila if you're looking for him.
Hurricane, it's kind of interesting how some teams like the Hurricane and some don't. It's sort of mixed, and well, chewing through its defenses can be pretty tough, but it's going to be out of the picture. There's certain power positions on this map. For example, inside of the building on the first round is going to be a brawl sort of arena. On the second round, these are your central pillar, where a lot of the teams want a fortress up there, while as the third round, if we even get there, because this is a best of 3 map, if we even get there, is a pretty open terrain. So CSTG, I could tell by their composition, they want to set up grouped up together.
All right, we'll drop in. The camo will fall off, and the targeting systems will come on for their pilots and strikers. Graceland Sky City now coming in for CSTG versus CLGG. CSTG on Palm Bay Harbor, very dominating after the first 30% of the map. And we'll see what happens. A lot of teams that lose if they haven't played Graceland like to come here. They think the team focus is there. They can recoup, and the shot calling needs to be on point.
All right, CSTG versus CLGG. Series point for CSTG in our first round to see who goes on to the top of the, or continues on to the top of the bracket, rolling out. We'll see where the setup is. Yinzi continuing on the Panther. I'm excited. So they want to play inside of the central building, so it closes off a lot of line of sight. And look at Yinzi waiting for his moment to strike.
On the cam, him and the Welkin. Ming just kind of hanging out slowly. See the charge already of that Inferno Lance. Ready to cook somebody up. So Aquila's high. They're just trying to get positioning now. It's looking for a pick, honestly. They're going around waiting for one solo person to lose the family.
And sometimes, like, I know our last series, this was a very fast Graceland Sky City, but sometimes you can just play to survive. This is the first to 6 kills, but remember, as more time passes on, there's an EIC storm that can spawn, and this will shred health and stop any lock-on. So this will force you to fight, and you do not want to get to that point.
Pushing forward. This Aquila is kind of, I love the white. The great paint. High ground grab now on the right side. Oh, the Stego. The Inferno. Or rather, that Tricera doing a lot of damage. So, Panther still alive. Look at the disruption on this death ball up top. They're all trying to shoot up. We're getting shot from the side. And CLGG is kind of looking for a target. Oh, huge damage coming in from Inferno.
Oh, that's good. And remember the cogwheel on the map, you can go and repair. So if you don't have a support, you can go for that. That may be an objective teams want to prioritize, but raining on down CLGG, trying to hold their own, but their fluid armor has been minced down, and Yinzi wants to get away from all the action.
Thought he was going to fall off the map for a second, but he saves himself, just ran into the outer dome. Still, look at 3 below him. The Welkin wall goes down, that shield rather, it's going to stop him a little bit, but man, the focus right now from Yinzi would have me pulling my hair out as his opponent.
Oh, and they found an isolated target, and there's
just
already
gross.
1 down. CLGG, when it rains, it pours. Now they've lost 2, and CSTG now can go and try to find these isolated targets that are trying to escape, and boxed on in is Kai's, and there's just no running from this.
A nightmare in there, Sunwing with the kill on that on Kai's. The healing goes away once again, and 4-0 quickly happens. Just 2 minutes left now. Oh my God, they're actually getting the fights inside. We've been seeing CSTG stay in here because of the Aquila. It's just so annoying outside. We can see Kui right there. You just dodge it, and Yinzi's like, stop shooting me, please. We're not going to come for you. We're just going to kill the rest of your team. Stop being annoying.
And in this far of a lead, you don't have to take unnecessary risks. CSTG can hold this fortress, have CLG come to them and poke them down, get CLGG low. There's so much cover in corners. You see Yinzi already exploring that. So CLGG just kind of are trying to recuperate some of their health, but there is CSTG recognizing that low health target of Q Zhang, and they're hunting it down.
He got it with the grapple from long range, but he still hits him. What the hell? Yinzi is amazing right now. Cap that air, was able to recoup mid-air again. Finally put down, and he's going to get focused. Killer Kin's over there like, please, someone get this Panther off me.
Yeah, and CLGG kind of using their teammate as bait and being able to punish that Panther. Signs of life for CLGG, but CSTG are 1 kill away from taking this first round and going to match point series point, and CLGG still have some fight in them.
It went behind the wall, 1 HP. 1 HP for Lack. Blackhawks, 1 HP, and there it is. It's going to go down. The first round going to CSTG. And man, Yinzi, I'm so glad the observers are following him, because it is a treat.
We go to round 2.
Round 2.
And there's not that central building that you hide in, but rather on top of. And this is the power position. And look at all the AoE skills coming in to not allow this position to go on for free. And you can still play around the perimeter and be annoying. Sometimes being grouped up is not what you want to do, but boxed in, CLGG setting up the walls.
You can see the sky bar. He's getting a lot of customers right now on top of that pillar. Everybody on the left side, though, for CSTG, they said, okay, that's fine. We'll fight whoever falls down off the pillar, because it's just too ridiculous right now to get that positioning.
See, Yinzi is now playing his life a lot more smartly, realizing how CLGG are getting better at punishing, but you got Welkins against a Stego, and Sancho is just spinning to win, and sometimes that's all you need. Boxing up on the top of the pillar, trying to dislodge CLGG's structure, and it's CLGG with first blood.
Focus on the Tricera. Looks like they're going to be able to stay alive. They found Jamley.
Oh, good box from Jamley.
Box. Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. As I said, you see a Panther, you box the Panther out. You do not want that fight. So reset here on the ground. They know they've lost again that high ground, and they wait for the recharge. Also waiting on 1 to spawn for CSTG. CSTG, and 1 kill so far for CLG.
Yeah, CSTGG having to also wait for their energy. That is what's going to allow you to move and take some high ground. And Logs is the other Panther main that we've been wanting to see more of. And is going to drop to the low ground to take a 1v1 fight. But his fluid armor has already been shredded. He's got energy to be able to escape. And they're just being able to hunt him. But Yinzi has his own 1v1. He's got Su Kang very, very low, but can't seem to nail him down. He's going to try and push people off of this high ground.
Boxes, gas, that's Welkin's deflector jammer, or shield jammer rather. All this energy damage is getting blocked out. He drops off. Few players going to go down now from the side of CSTG. In this elevation, this is what we talk about, Graceland Sky City. It may go 6-0 in one fight, but with elevation changing in the next fights, you have anybody's game. from map to map here.
CLGG, it's a slow burn, but one that hurts. They got up to 4 kills, 2 away from sending us into a round 3, and 1 step closer to tying the series. And Locks, this Panther is coming alive. We're currently watching Yinzi's Panther and CLGG close it out with a flawless round 2 at that.
Actually seeing a little bit of, I think, not frustration, but really wanting to get kills that weren't in range. Yinzi making a few mistakes with early swipes, stopping his Panther, dashing forward, but we're right back into it. No time for the last one. It's to the third of this best of 3, and again for the high ground, Lemon.
Ooh, and that Welkin from CSTG dropped to the low ground, managed to get back up to his team before CLGG could punish it, and the Welkins are trying to slam everyone off. Remember, Panther has CC. He can push people off of this. That is going to be the win condition, how you can isolate away from this grouped up structure. The Welkin box will try to buy some time and some space. That's 2 kills for CLGG.
Already going down. Honestly, Welkin's fighting on top of these things is absolutely horrible. It feels bad. You spin off, you fall off, and you don't have the energy to get back up. So whoever gets there first, you almost have to give it to him.
Nice shots from Qzang, an uncontested sniper in the sky, and just trying to suppress and try to drain down that fluid armor before these melees, especially poking down those Panthers. It's going to be important for Qzang.
Are we going to get our first best of 3 overall series today on this one, Lemon? You said this was a close one. Both teams absolutely slugging it out to make sure this happens, and only 1 more kill for CLGG will solidify Graceland Sky City.
What a turnaround for CLGG. I mean, to go on more open terrains was clearly their playground. As soon as CSTG had that first building on round 1, there was no touching them. But this is about to be 2 flawless rounds for CLGG. It's incredible how resilient they were, or how resilient they are, and how calm that they've stayed despite being at a deficit. And one last poke down gives CLGG the map 2 victory. The
Aquila, I'm going to say it right now, is going to be the MVP on that one. We saw so much damage coming through, and what a change. A 6-0 first one from CSTG to CLGG saying, nah, we got 12 for you, and we'll do it back to back.
It's GG for CSTG versus CLGG.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of G's, but 1 W going that way in our first map 3 of the day.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, and I was kind of expecting this.
Corrupt.
I know you want to go there.
I want some Corrupt Sinkhole.
But it's CSTG's map pick. So
it is. I think we might get either an Eye of Mizra, but more so a Cape Blanc Observatory. I feel like their fighting style, when not having to go up and down in situations, is a little bit better. And while there is elevation, quite a bit to play there, the city fights down in the valley and whatnot are, I think, things they can easily prioritize and take over CSGG.
Yeah, and now we understand why the Panther ban didn't come out from CLGG, kind of realizing, well, we could just depend on Laux to match the Panther and to just maybe distract and pull more attention so that he's able to do what Yinzi is doing on the other side. So excited to see. And it's also been a big macro game of who's holding those power positions, those Welkin boxes, when you're able to buy that space or at least a moment to breathe away from the Panthers, and how the Panthers are trying to separate all these layers.
Just to break down that, dissect that a little bit, is looking, in the beginning I said, well, we don't have really air superiority here because everybody picked the ground game, but there was one Aquila. And while it was 6-0 on the first map, it was 6-0 because we saw CSTG in the bunker, hiding away from that Aquila. Open up the next 2 maps, and that's free firing for your snipers. So really great job to understand that their late game win condition was the other portion of Graceland Sky City and not just that first map.
Yeah, guys, I was not capping when I said these were 2 of the closest match Chinese teams.
These teams are capping.
Sitting, they're capping. We'll see if they'll cap an objective. I don't know if that's a game type that's coming up, but
I think we have to.
We have to. And are they going to be able to contest the top Chinese teams being like EVA or maybe Celestial Being? Those are the ones being touted as the best Chinese teams here. But this is kind of a nice warm-up match because no matter what happens here, it's double elim. But this is a good tone setter for the rest of the tournament.
And I really want to break down one of the things we may not be seeing. It kind of happens behind the scenes is the cooldowns that the strikers are working with. A lot of strikers can activate and deactivate things that will allow them to get their cooldown back at like a 1-to-1 refresh. Some strikers actually per like 1 second, it equals 3 seconds of cooldown. So if you turn it on and off, 3 seconds right away. At 3 seconds, it's 5. So this is something that they're trying to manage the whole time. Well, an Inferno, if we see an Inferno on the screen, you will see like 20-second cooldowns, and that's what makes Inferno so difficult to play, or not difficult, but punishing if you make a mistake in that sense.
And that's what makes this game so special. It's probably going to be one of the fastest games you ever play.
Yeah.
And because of the lockdown or the lock-on system, it's not as maybe mechanically heavy as other games, but it's more intelligent. I feel like the decision-making is what's most critical. Talking about those cooldowns that you just brought up, when to use them, how they interact with each other and against each other, like you were pointing out earlier, when to welcome box against a Panther, who to pair with the Panther, being the Panaka, or just how you play around the Panther. This game is so much about team coordination, and mechanically it can be very demanding too with the Akilas and Narukamis and whatnot.
1.7 million damage on the Stego, but on the other side, Kui flying around in the air, 1.6 from the Aquila, and 500,000 direct damage. Yeah, that stings. That is some sniping.
Yeah, that very close-knit Panther match where Lox actually did, 40,000 more damage than the other. But our clear MVP was the sniper, the eye in the sky being Qzang.
Ooh, now I want to see the Ken match. Both are right around 60% hit rate. Let's see it. I'll get these guys duking it out in a game, hopefully, in the upper bracket. What a game from them.
To get almost 2 million damage on a sniper, clearly everyone was more focused on the Panthers than the person floating in the sky. And this game, like I said, there's so much going on because there's threats above, below, and in your face.
Yep.
And you have to address them as a team. Sometimes there's these 1v1s, like you can't help it when a Welkin boxes you in through the eyes of Sanju here. But ignoring that Aquila, you just saw how devastating that was.
These high ground plays. I love the initial battle. Somebody's going to have to figure something out, though, to make this impossible. Really can't dump too much damage. I mean, Hurricanes, maybe that's why you take it off, because a Hurricane can really lace all of that energy damage towards the top side, as you mentioned before, taking down the tanks. But that just is not the case. And we're going to see where we're going next. It is going to be Cape Blanc Observatory. Both teams starting on either side of this area, and we will go for 8 extractors that they can dismantle. Whoever does it first is going to be taking that win home. If we get tied, by the time the time runs out, you will have first to 2 after that. So there is an overtime that goes into this.
Oh yeah, these overtime mechanics you can't just wait things out. You can't just have a staring contest, because there is a storm that will just burn you down. Game 1 went to CSTG on Palm Bay. CLGG went the distance on Graceland Sky City, and we settled the score here and now. And these are two teams that have duked it out, not only just here and now, but beyond this battlefield, beyond this tournament. The first band goes in, it's Stego. We'll see what CLGG decide to go with.
We just saw 1.7 million damage from the Stego, so that seems like Okay, they are taking the box game out. This becomes terrifying to step up to an extractor to dismantle it. All shots are going to be hitting, so this game will require you to take out multiple opponents before trying to get that extractor.
Yeah, because the main ultra heavy striker you're going to have is the Tricera, and you still need a lot of heavies around him. It can't just be the Tricera show.
Yeah.
The Stego shield is important, the Welkin box, and to leave the Tricera alone, there's got to be maybe some other choices. A Hurricane, Inferno, but we got the Panthers making a return. The Inferno's going to be here. The Lumine with the AoE heals. Aquila is back for Sanju.
Yeah, there it is for Kui as well, looking for another MVP. And let's talk about that Inferno and Stego, why they're broken up. Inferno and, Tricera and Stego, rather, why they're broken up, as well as Inferno, because he's going to be sitting in that group too, is that Tricera can put out some heal drones, whether they're on himself or on the teammates around him, and Stego can activate what is a blue haze you'll see, and that refreshes the shield. So getting Stego out of that combination of these Bass strikers, the Bass brothers there that can just sit on a point, is so huge. They just buff each other so much, and that cannot happen.
Yeah, and a big difference I noticed too is the Aleseness versus the Inferno. Those were two different strikers picked. Aleseness, we pointed out earlier, has multiple lives, because as soon as your health is drained, you lose your armor, and you can get back into it if you choose to right away. You have limited abilities in your unarmored Aleseness form, and then there's quite a long cooldown if you do want to re-armor back up.
How happy are you if you see an
stall.
Inferno as an Aleseness?
I'm
like,
too
bye-bye.
swifty. I don't care. I'm too swifty. I
take
got
'em
lives. The most forgivable striker that you can play. But the Inferno, man, he hurts if you stand still.
Well, we will see flying towards the top side of the map on either side a fully centered extractor here in the beginning. And we'll see both teams just getting their position. Yinzi again towards the right side of the mountains to get something started and just kind of pick off some stragglers.
Yeah, and a reminder, there's normal extractors that are worth 1 point, large ones that are worth 2 points, and it's first to 8 to win the map. We got Panthers making an appearance, Lox versus Yinzi, and this could be quite scary when there's less ultra heavies in the picture.
Oh, look at these Triceras just jumping around each other. So many bullets being fired. Oh, they got it! Somebody got it! And all of that. I think it was the jump down. CSTG's Tricera beautifully grabbing it. And Yinsu flying through the air for air superiority, just to let him know what's going on from the top down.
Oh, those bullets that are raining down. That's the Tricera, but we're looking through the eyes of Yinzi. On such an open map, though, you can be poked down, and you do not want to go head first into the Tricera. It will cause you to stagger and take a second to get back on your feet.
It's a great point. Being able to get out of that stagger or shift out, sometimes it is just a death sentence. Here's Inferno here. You can see after activating that dash will make him very hard to target. And these shots from his splitters do 12,500 damage. His chest beam can do 25,000 damage. So you can get hit with 50 grand if he's close enough.
And without Welkin to protect you against energy damage, Inferno's gonna let it rain. But there is still an extractor that's been deployed, and there's a second one about to be deployed. Remember, only one large can spawn, but 2 normals can spawn at the same time. So we have an even matchup.
Beautiful job by Zhuhai right now. Just capping points as Tricera. I thought it was going to be so much harder. They've gotten here first, but they get pushed off, and still they scatter. And CLGG now doesn't, it had control a moment ago, but it just seems like CSTG is always peeking over the mountain doing just enough damage.
Everyone is so centered around this A extractor, and no one seems to be really in full control, but CSTG are down a member. This is the time for CLGG to strike. They all converge on this Tricera. It's losing those composite shields, and it is forcing some staggers, but here's some backup from Yinzi to push them all away from the Tricera.
God, it's just like a bus coming on the screen and slamming you off to the side. Absolutely crazy movement right now coming in from Yinzi. Going for that. Oh, the shield wasn't enough, and it's going to be taken out.
Any damage will interrupt that dismantle, and you need to choose that moment carefully. A big double kill from CSTG, but that only evens up the numbers. CLGG, though, are taking shots from an Aquila at range, and this is terrifying for Saint-Ju.
3 members down for CSTG, 2 for CLGG. This is a bloodbath, and still the points are hardly being capped because there's just enough damage being done.
And Saint-Ju is choosing to go to an extractor where no one is nearby, but racing on in to disrupt
they're
this.
there already.
That is a huge disrupt from CLGG.
Just nobody has a moment to stand still. I'm surprised they aren't gassing themselves out of energy here. Beautifully played by both teams to keep this close.
And yeah, all the gas to stop the capture. The Tricera versus Tricera. And a Panther just in the pain sandwich in between. Jeez, I don't know how this Panther's going to get anything done with Tricera's nearby, and Yinzi has to disengage and pick this moment carefully.
They got it! Oh, the Lumine got it within the fight. Absolutely crazy stuff.
And this is map 3 for all the marbles, and we are tied 2-2 apiece. But this heavy is having a hard time moving around. Tricera needs to pull the shields back up. The health about to be diminished, but getting sliced up like sushi.
Gotta move. Gotta move. This isn't going to end very well. At least in this, though. Going to have some lives on this. Shouldn't be too bad. And A is now to be hit. You mentioned it earlier. As this goes on, Lemon, there will be multiple points spawned at the same time, so it's going to start taking eyes in multiple positions on the map to cover those.
And it's important to play mobile strikers for exactly that reason, moving from objective to objective. B is up next. Air superiority for MZM. That support specialist trying to also gather the team, but B is about to spawn, and all the kills are going in CSTG's way. This is their moment to even extend this lead if possible, but CLGG just need to apply damage. It's not just always about the kills, but to deny the objective with any damage.
Dashes in, pushes out the Tricera. That's actually a huge move by Yinzi. Gives the team a bit of positioning now on the B extractor. But I don't know if it's enough. The shield goes on, and it's instantly torn away from the focus fire. Oh, that's some Inferno damage.
Oh, how is this Tricera going to live any longer? Forced to disengage. You have to play your life. The respawn timers can be 25 seconds plus. You are out of the fight for so long. Nice shots from Q Zhang, and both teams are even 4-4 apiece in terms of members. How do you organize at this point? You can't let the chaos overwhelm you.
Multiple points are up. You can see on the mini-map, someone's already covering on that A point. B is actually being converged on as well by the teams. And we have the Panther versus Elysius fight. Just absolute all-out melee brawl.
Just trying to stop this Tricera from setting up is so smart from Yinzi, but it's too little too late. CSTG are stacked, and they managed to dismantle it.
Oh, beautiful dismantle on that. 4-2 now, a quick step up for the side of CSTG in this battle. They have to focus on B. They have to get 4-3 if they really want to keep it close.
Zhuhai is just trying to anchor this to help CLGG stay in this. They got all the kills raining on down, forcing Sanwang to go around the mountain. Now Sanju at a distance, and the Inferno's adding damage onto this Tricera. The fluid armor is gone, and CLGG can't anchor this any longer. They're down 2 people.
And those were heals and shields going out as well for the side of that Tricera. So CSTG really focusing here now. 5-2, just 3 away from capping this series and capping Cape Blanc Observatory.
What a pin down from Yinzi. CLGG haven't had all 6 strikers up at once for a while. Look how this lead is increasing from CSTG as a result. Look, they've even pinned down Laux on the Panther, and he's got below half health. I don't know if he's able to
Somebody
escape.
help this Panther. Oh my gosh, gets out. The ambulance was called for him. He's good. Not for me, but for you. All right, they get to A. Look at this. 4 of them on A already. Instantly shield, and they could probably get some damage or get some percentage on that.
CLGG, it's their Panther that has to disrupt this, but you can only really target one person at a time. At least it's going to be difficult for a Panther to handle all these strikers at once. But CLGG with a big opening pick. Now they just need to converge. They're at quite a deficit. It's been a waterfall for CSTG. Their team play's been outstanding, and Yinzi has to go unnoticed, but there's so many flies of CLGG around.
Exactly. I mean, you just saw Yinzi get hit. Use his Javelin to get out of a situation of the Inferno Laser, then chased by Elysius. They know Yinzi is a problem and needs to be dealt with. And here he goes again.
CLGG just lost a member, though, but CSTG, their health is so low, and they have to be careful. The respawn timers are getting up to 30 seconds, and this could be the beginning of the end, and maybe a comeback for CLGG. They're only down by 2. There's an extractor that will be deployed very shortly. This is the time to set up and rotate through, and CLGG are around.
2 points for this. Yinzi's on it, but there's Jam Lee. They're going to try to get a nice fight down. Destroys that. Yinzi in the solo kill, but
the deny.
Denied. Back to 40 seconds. Can't get past 50, and now it's going to be CLGG here to fight.
Laux against the world, pushing people away. Kills exchange at a distance, and just going for the big play. CSTG trying to dismantle the Tricera. Everybody trying to shield each other. CLGG are disrupting, but they're falling like flies and dominoes, and CSTG are about to dismantle any second now.
80%. So close for the Tricera, or Lumi actually, again to get in there. Xiao's been doing a great job at getting a few points as the Lumi here just tagged on damage from Sanwang, so nobody can tag onto that emitter.
CLGG have no second to breathe. They have no fluid armor. That's what's going to regenerate over time, and this Tricera is constantly dealing damage from CLGG, denying CSTG from dismantling at all. CLGG just have to play the long game, but they just don't have the heals to keep up with this, the sustain, and just The survivability from CSTG may just be what helps them dismantle, but Lox with a big pick on Sandwang, Qzang with the follow-up. This is so even.
3 down to 2 down right now. It's just getting hit, and no other extractors are going to spawn until the big one is taken out. This big one being taken out won't end the game for either team, so we still got more if somebody does get it.
But this could be the end soon. CLGG only have 2 people left.
It's gone.
And they could be staggered. They need to escape and try to regroup, and that could be difficult if you're playing an ultra heavy that moves a lot slower than the medium and the lights. So CSTG, though, they look healthy. Can't say the same about Ozzy, was managed to get back to full health. And now the extractors aren't spawned yet, so there's time to really extend the kill timers from CLGG, but now they're all back.
See him coming in on the mini-map, soaring through. They're actually going to have the backside of CSTG here for a moment, who are on the point. So this could be quite tough. B and A are going to spawn nearly the same point, so it's a decision of how to play your strategy. I think Yinzi again goes for the 1v1s. The rest of the team heads for the points.
Ton of kills from CSTG. They got to get on this extractor. A and B are also very close to each other and could even be up at the same time. So dividing your attention or focusing on one is what's going to be key in the next minute and a half. A is up, CSTG are all alive as well, and the kills continue. CLGG just don't have an advantage to work with. They're so split from each other.
Maybe they try to get a free A here. No, they do get B, though. That's a 6. A is open, but nobody's made the move yet. Yes, they actually are there trying to get it, but the Tricera firing down on high, and it will not be able to be taken.
So much disruption from the Tricera. Yinzi tries to push an enemy away from all the gunfire, but it's impossible to be left alone and to go unnoticed. The Triceras are just shooting each other.
Just firing. Are you tickling me? What are you doing? That's what he's asking. Mazin 1 getting another assist there, coming in for CSTG. They're dropping, but Yinzi still doesn't have the coverage. No time to get that dismantle as CLG answer back with a kill of their own.
The end of the series is on the horizon, and now both Panthers clash. They parry, and reigning above is the Inferno. Asanju tries to assess the field, snipes at a distance. CLGG, they are able to match the numbers in terms of kills, but the extractors are all going the way of CSTG, who have doubled their objective. There's 30 seconds left.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. They have to cap everything and 3 extractors to get it. I don't think it's going to happen. This one from CSTG is down to the wire, but being able to get those last few, being able to have Yinzi be so distracting on the outside of the map here has been a boon for the side of CSTG. 5 seconds left. The extractors are actually destroying themselves because there's not enough time for the players to get them down. Hardly ever see that. What a fight from both teams.
What? Yeah, an absolute bloodbath between our teams. GG for CSTG, moving on to the next round after a grueling map 3 victory, draining the last seconds of our timer and playing the long game, but playing a winning one against their brethren from China.
Very nicely done throughout. We saw a lot of what I wanted. Teams going in, understanding the severity of the fight, and that it can be, you know, set right, get a little bit of healing, and go in again. Wait for the team. I think that had to happen even more so this time because we were seeing so frequently multiple players down on the team. You have to reset, regroup, and then get back in. And we saw CSTG be able to do that just a scotch more.
And what a hustle from CLGG to come back on Graceland Sky City when being down
that was
round and going the distance. And to do it in 2-6-0, I believe, final rounds, it was such an effort.
Good old Quihang on the Aquila.
Yeah. The Aquilas, the Panthers, we saw some really cool compositions come out and bans that forced you to take a different look, especially banning all those ultra heavies in that final map. You saw how much chaos it was when you weren't able to just stack all your heavies together.
Yeah, man, not having a welcome box is tough there on Cape Blanc Observatory, but
sad,
it is really awesome to watch. I'm not going to lie. So playing it, I want Welkin. Spectating it, I actually love when Welkin's not on that map.
Yeah.
That was cool.
If you're a fan of CLGG, though, it is not over. There is a lower bracket to be fought through. And there's a lot of intra-regional matches too, so every region is going to be at the bottom at some point. And we still got North America that will be featured later on today. I believe Japan is coming up too. This has been an incredible day.
It has, and we have more to go too. We have 2 more games to hit up with Extra Turn versus Celestial Beings, and then Team Liquid versus DSG as we get these ones in. And I think our next one is it China versus Japan, right? Pretty cool.
I'll have to
So
double
that'll
check.
be awesome.
And we got
That's
an
our
interview
first kind of-
coming up too.
Yeah,
so
we do. And we have to pick MVP. MVP.
Triceras.
Tricera.
Just for the
Could it be
disruption.
Yinzi again?
Probably.
That
I'd
was
like
kind of
Triceras.
insane.
You couldn't dismantle anything. Probably the reason why we went down to 0 seconds was Triceras.
I'm gonna say Lumine.
That's a, that's
There
a hot
was
take.
a few extracts. It is a hot take, but there's a few extractions, and also the healing must have been insane that map.
To be able to take a second and heal is insane. Look at Yinzi, just top of the charts.
But yeah, Yinzi's right there.
Going up against Lox, though, let's see. Direct damage-wise, we got 300k from Lox and Yinzi up there. Ooh,
2.6 with almost
400K.
a million direct. Yeah, 400k on the other side, so 900 altogether. These damage numbers in these long games are absurd.
yeah, I was just
to look
comparing the
at.
Panthers. Of Yinzi versus Lox has been the storyline for this series of the Panthers being unbanned and this being such an important identity.
it is him.
And Yinzi's back in the MVP chair.
Good old Yinzi. Take another one. Wow. So the last 2 games, we've actually had double MVPs. People really showing their prowess on their favorites. And when we're seeing these fully focused pilots on their favorite striker, it is something to behold.